I wanted to slip in one last question about performing gap analyses or gap assessments. I want to hear your thoughts, all three of you, on your advice regarding the preparation for a gap analysis. When should a gap analysis or gap assessment be done, and how do they differ on the sending and receiving end?
Yeah, so what we do, I'm sorry, I want to start here. What we do is, of course, we have a mature process for these things, right? Now we have our challenges, but I think logistically for these things, we have this down, as most major companies do, right? So we start with a method transfer plan. And in this is the right place where you because typically you do tech transfer not just for one method, right? You do tech transfer because you're changing your manufacturing place, right? Your site, or you're simply moving from a development lab into a QC lab or whatever. But you typically do that to support a product, right? So you typically do like at least a dozen assays get transferred, right? So a master plan makes sense. And in a master plan, you lay out what you have in terms of equipment, right? And material you're using from a sending side versus the receiving side. And oftentimes, especially once you're global and you're going into different regions, you find that your instrumentation changes, right? That's particularly true going into Asia. Where they tend to use their own company instrumentation, right? And then you basically, it's actually no longer a method transfer, then it's actually a method transfer / comparison study, right? As you may see a drift in results, and you may actually end up having to change your specifications. No, that basically is the essence of a gap analysis, which is to assess whether you have a true like for like, meaning no change in variation, no change in specificity, no change in quantitation limit or detection limit, no change, no drifting of results, no change in variation, etc. So that is the gap analysis. Oftentimes, it is not predictable from just looking at what you have, right? And so it may actually not be clear. So then the question is, well, as I cannot be conclusive in this gap analysis, I know I have to look out for it. So then you probably have to do some kind of a feasibility / equivalence testing that will tell you whether you are going to be equivalent or not. And then you can maybe have time to make a decision whether you're going to stick with that instrument you're going to have there, or the testing environment, or whether you're changing it to be more like the sending unit, right? To avoid a bias, a differential during the method transfer that could kill your project, quite frankly, right? And or delay you, not kill you, but would certainly delay you likely, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of the purpose of this gap analysis, and it has to be done very rigorously. It's not a checkbox exercise. As anything you're overseeing in this gap analysis, you'll pay for likely during the formal method transfer when you have a significant difference, and then you're really delaying your project, and then people are really going to get upset. Okay, so that's basically my advice for gap analysis.
Thank you, Stefan. Bill, Cheryl, would you like anything to add on there on that note of gap analyses? No?
I think that was pretty complete.
Yeah.
I would like to make a pitch. I started actually at the beginning of the hour, which is ensuring that the documentation of methods includes sampling and sample management. How long between when the sample is taken from the product till you actually conduct your analytics, how the sample is withdrawn, and the relative size of the sample can actually affect your outcome. It tends to get neglected.
Yeah. It's all about the details, right, Bill?